Hello, 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 and welcome back to You Only Go Once. I'm here with my magnanimous friend, Eileen Grimes, who is also my co-host. I'm Cheryl Cantafio, and today we're here with a fantastic guest. Eileen, kick us off.
Thanks, Cheryl. Dria Dair is a lifestyle brand that emphasizes being as comfortable in your clothes as you are stylish. It caters to the modern day woman with everything from gym clothes to cocktail dresses. It was founded in the small town of Graham, North Carolina, but its fashion brings you a big city feel. The founder, Kendria Godair, was born and raised in North Carolina, but in 2020 closed her brick and mortar store, picked up her business and family, and relocated to Phoenix, Arizona. She's a mother, speaker, motivator, friend, and fashionista. Kendria inspires modern day women that dare to think they can have it all, to leave behind what society has told them they should be, and define their own paths. Yes. Dria Dair has been active for close to 10 years and has evolved with Kendria throughout that time. Dria Dair has recently branched into the charity world. Ooh, I'm excited to hear about this. With the nonprofit A Human Mission, with the goal being not just to sell clothes, but clothe people in need. Giving back to the community is a core focus while reminding them to be bold, brave, and unapologetically themselves. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are we doing this evening?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's so great to have you. And I will say, we were talking before we started recording, and like I said, I already have some items in my cart from the site because the two-piece jogger and crop set look like the most comfortable thing in the entire world. So
it definitely is. Like, because I as the older I get, I want to be very comfortable. Like, I want to be stylish always.
Totally.
But I need to be comfortable at all times.
Yep. No, totally agree. And especially after motherhood, there's just something about being very okay being comfortable that is important.
Definitely.
Yeah, after babies for me, it was like, look, this shirt is going to get spit up on it. Like, I don't even know why I try.
Right. No, I totally get that. Definitely. I have two kids. So my son is 14 and my daughter is 7. And so, I mean, I still want to be all things fashion, like all the time. But like, I don't want things tight on my waist. I don't want things scratchy on my skin. I want to be comfortable at the same time. So I try to make these two things as important as one another.
And I love all of that. So just going back, so what inspired this? Where did this come from for you? Has fashion always been something that has sort of tugged on your heart and been something you knew you were always going to be a part of?
I'm not sure I would say like I knew I was always going to be a part of it, but was it always a part of me? Yeah, a little bit. So in my household, my dad was the shopper. Like my dad's super fly all the time. Like he has the best collared shirts. He has like the dopest shoes. And when my dad steps out into the city, he looks fly and fresh all the time. So like presenting himself very, stylish was always a part of him.
Yeah.
And I think I always liked that about him. I always admired that. So was it always kind of there? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I think being running my own business, I think was more what was always a part of me too.
Yeah.
It was more about like, I want to work for myself. How am I going to do that? What's going to be the method of transportation to have me do that? Yeah.
Totally. And I mean, so I've done many things in my lifetime. I was a high school teacher for a little bit, high school math teacher at that. Right. And I worked as an administrative assistant and worked in corporate. And for me, I just like the freedom of, like, I do consulting and stuff now. And there's something about the freedom of choice, the freedom of creating the world that I want to be in and that I want to create for others is so empowering. And that feels like sort of what your vibe is overall and just how you approach life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you get all of the responsibility. So if it goes wrong
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you do terrible, that's on you.
Yeah.
If it goes great and you do well, that's on you. And I'm fine with both. Like,
yeah,
that's okay.
definitely. So obviously you've been running for 10 years, which is holy moly, congratulations. That's amazing. I mean, it really is. And to obviously then have made it through the pandemic also within that.
Goodness. Yeah,
That's
that was
huge.
a trial.
Yeah. How,
Oh,
well,
for
tell us
sure.
more.
So
Tell us more.
Yeah, so I had a brick and mortar
Mhm.
for 5 years.
Okay.
And then the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's happening? And North Carolina was very strict. Just the way, it gives it like state by state, depending on how strict it was. So North Carolina was like super strict, and they made all the small businesses close down. Some places, I guess they wouldn't make them pay rent. Where I was at, I was still paying rent.
Oh, wow.
Even though I was closed. And so like 2 months in, 3 months in, I'm like, forget this.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this anymore. And also I had 2 or 3 months to sit there and like twiddle my thumbs and be like, is this really what I want to do? Because I had been doing it for so long that it had kind of consumed me, I felt like. And I had time to sit there and be like, oh my God, I could do something else. Like, I'm not married to this. Like, I could go somewhere else. I could do something else. And my wheels start turning. And by like, into month 2, I'm like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Like, I've always wanted to move. I've always wanted to do something different. And I kind of felt excited though. I'm like, this is an opportunity for me to like scratch it all.
Yeah.
And completely start over and do something new. And I know Phoenix is like a weird choice, but I had always wanted to move here. Like, I just always felt called to here. I don't know. And so I was like, this is my opportunity. I could move my store online. And if it doesn't work, the worst thing is I move back home.
Right.
What's the worst thing that can happen? I just move back. But it's been one of my favorite decisions like that I ever made.
Yeah. And so it's so interesting. And I'm not saying that people quit. Like the pandemic was a whole other ball game of businesses hitting literally the wall of what they could withstand and what they could really just be able to do from a financial perspective and all of those things. And those that were able to pivot, those that were able to find a way. There is something. So my sister-in-law owns a gym and like they're still up and running. They went through so many iterations of like, well, let's try this and let's go this route. I think that there is something about business owners and entrepreneurs that are able to withstand this was obviously a way bigger hurdle than anyone could have ever imagined going into any business or being a parent or literally anything in the world at that point, right? But yeah, is that something you think you've developed over time? Is that a piece of who you are, that this just kind of, look, I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm going to figure it out and I will make the path?
So one of my best friends, one time we were talking and she was like, well, you're a figure it outer. And like, there was like no term for that. And I was like, yes, I am. I'm a figure it outer.
Yeah.
Like, so it's funny because when I do these talks, especially with Modern Day Wife on the panel, one of my biggest things is pivot.
Yeah.
Like you have to be able to pivot because things are not going to continue to go one way for that long. Like you have to be able to pivot. I pivoted so many times and I will keep pivoting and I'm okay with that. Like I'm going to roll with the punches and I'm going to keep going. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think that is a part of who I am. I'm a figure it outer, whatever that means. And I'm always okay with pivoting and change kind of excites me a little bit.
Same. You and I are connected on that one. Trust me.
For sure. Yes. Yeah. I've always been a big admirer of people that can just get up and move. So I've worked with a few people that have moved from different countries to be here or vice versa. They've moved from here to another country just because it's like, you know what? I've my life is not here. I'm going over there. I'm still debating as to whether or not I want to move from one county to another. So, like I said, I'm always like, I always admire people that have that spirit in them that
But
wants
hey,
to.
I lived in North Carolina for 30 years,
Yeah.
31, 30,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And that was all I knew.
Yeah.
And now I just think like, I should have done it before that. Like, why did I wait so long? But so I'm not just saying like, oh, I'm a pick up and move type of person. That was like a big thing for me. But now I could be that person because I can see how like, what if you got to lose a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah.
And what, yeah. And why not? And certainly during the time of the pandemic too, I saw a lot of people just going, you know what? I'm going to move,
I'm
or I'm
out.
going to clean out my house, or I'm going to learn how to like do a new skill. And also, I'm sick of corporate America and I'm moving on to like my passion project, right? There was all of that. But I want to come back to the travel a little bit because you said, I don't know, I've always felt drawn to Arizona. Had you traveled there before?
Yeah,
Have
I
you
have.
okay.
I traveled a lot in general. My parents, they like love to travel and they traveled all over the US and in the world. So I came to Arizona the first time when I was like 12.
Okay.
And it was a funny story. I actually hated it because it was so hot.
Oh yeah.
My dad got lost. We were out in downtown and we got lost. And so I'm like sweating and I thought I was dying. And I was like, anybody that chooses to live in the desert is crazy. And they always remind me of that now. They're like, oh, you remember when you said that?
Yep, I do.
Yes, I do.
Look at you. But then I ended up coming back here several times in my early 20s and then I just liked the vibe. I just thought it was different and I was like, I like these people. I like how, it wasn't completely LA, so it wasn't like, that scene, but it was like somewhere in the middle and I liked it.
Fun.
And I still get that from it. When I came back here now, so I came, in 2020 and oh my gosh, now I have such a great group of friends. There's a great group of creatives here. And
awesome.
I just met the coolest people here in the city, in the fashion industry and everything. So it's been a great move for me.
That's fantastic. When you go through this, one of the things that, I don't know, we talk about too, is just the sort of like self-reflection piece of it. So it sounds like even through your life, do you take the time to like practice listening to your gut? Like that kind of a move is not, yes, you can do it on a whim, but there's something that's telling you that that's the right thing to do. Like, do you have any kind of self-reflective practice or anything like that you use, or listening to the choices or anything along those lines?
I don't know if I would call it like a self-reflective practice. Is that what you call it? That's a good term. I don't know that term necessarily.
That's fine.
I do like listen to my gut a lot. Yeah. Like, so I think some of my best decisions I have made instinctively. Like on the edge, like even when I got my store, I was 25, 26, I was pregnant and I was like, I'm buying a store. Like I'm going to buy a storefront. And people were like, you want to slow down with that? Like, let's hold on to that idea until you give birth. And so that was like one of my first, like very quick decisions. And the same way with moving here, it was a very snap decision. I've made some of my best decisions as snap decisions. They seem like they just come from my gut and I intuitively say, no, I'm doing this. I don't care what everyone else says. I'm doing this thing whenever I feel it deep in my gut, my heart, whatever you want to call it, whatever the case would be.
Yeah. So as someone who has, who often ignored the gut and went, like, well, everyone else tells me I'm supposed to do this and the supposed to's, right? I got used to not listening to it. So I am on the reverse side of that now. I'm like, okay, I have to take a minute to say, okay, what is my gut actually saying versus what is the logic brain, the social influence, all of those pieces. So I am in awe of people that are just like, no, I know this and it's happening. So that's incredible that you have that.
But you know, you don't really know, right? It's just a gamble.
No, totally. Yes.
Yeah. You're at that moment, you're just completely being a gambler. Like it's a gamble. Both times it could have gone horribly wrong.
True.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't like, I know. I was like, I'm pretty sure this is it. I'm doing it. You know what I mean? But like, it could have gone wrong. And I acknowledge that also.
For sure. Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, gosh, who knows? Is there a good way to do it? Who knows then, right? Every possibility has endless consequences that we never know of. So
absolutely. But I do think, and I do like to encourage, like, what do I say when I'm talking a lot of times? I'm here to encourage you in your shenanigans.
yes.
Whatever that, we only live one time.
Yes.
Right.
Like that was my thing when I was like moving here. I'm like, I'm not going to live. I'm 30, right? It's at the time. So I'm like, I've always wanted to move to Phoenix. This is my little window. I feel like I can see it. I'm going to take it. Yeah. I'm going to move right now. And I do encourage that. You're taking a risk, but I encourage taking risks because you have one life. You got to take it.
I mean, that's literally what this podcast is about. So yes, preach.
Yes.
Okay, I'm on the right one.
You are.
Excellent.
You are. Well, it's just interesting because I know, from Cheryl's and my perspective, sorry, I'll speak from my perspective, Cheryl, you can jump in. Everyone's at a different point of that, right? Everyone's at a different point of, this is the one time that we have to live. This is the one life. And some people realize that early. Some people get it a little bit later when they finally realize that. But that's okay, right? We're trying to encourage and help people to say, stop now and think about it. This is it. This is it. Now take that and go for it. What does that mean for you? What does that mean to live a life that is full for you? It doesn't have to be, we talk about purpose and stuff, but at the same time, that's such I don't know, that can take you 10, 20, 30 years if you really want to like dive into, well, what's my purpose of being here? The great philosophers still haven't figured that one out. So, do the things that bring you joy, do the things that you would regret not having done. And we just want to share all of those stories and how people have gotten to that. And if it's taken them a while, that's okay. It doesn't mean it's over. You're still here listening to us. That means you're still alive and have the opportunity to continue forward in doing the things that matter to you.
Definitely. And I'm okay with mistakes. I'd rather not have regret.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I'm on the slow learner spectrum of where you are. And it took me a long time to recognize that, and I come from a family of people that created things with their hands, whether it was like electricians or people that baked or, people that sewed their own clothes or did their things, I always felt like I had to stay in a straight line. And now I'm finally starting to branch out, and it's been terrifying, quite frankly, but it's also been very rewarding. So I applaud you for being one of the quick learners.
I don't know about that, but I appreciate it.
So what was the first piece of clothing you've ever made?
Oh, so I am a wholesale to retail business.
Got you. Okay.
Yes. So I was shopping. So I was in New York. I'll tell you my little origin story. So I tell this all the time, but whatever, it's okay.
That's fine. Go for it.
I was in New York and I was shopping just for myself because I love to shop. And so I walk into a store and I'm like, I want this skirt. Let me buy it. And they're like, no, you have to buy like 10 or 12 or something like that. And I'm like, what? And they were like, yeah, this is a wholesale store. Like if you want to buy something, you have to buy 10 or 12 of them. And I was like, ugh. Like, and that, I wanted that skirt so bad. It really, really, like, it pissed me off. Like, okay, like I left and I thought about that skirt all day. Like I'm like 24, I think maybe 23. And I thought about that skirt all day and I'm walking around like, oh, that's so stupid, blah, blah. And so then like for the next like 24 hours, I was like, I think I could sell the other 11. Like, I just feel like I could, like, and that's just literally how it was born for me. I was
That's
like
great.
23, and I immediately just started selling on Instagram and on Facebook. So I would put the outfit on, take a photo, and sell the rest.
Amazing.
And then I was
Fantastic.
like, I should get a website.
Yeah.
Then I got a
Mhm.
website. And then I was like,
Mhm.
I should get a store. And then I got a store. So between 23 and 26, I built it up until I wanted to get a store.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So how did you land on the brand as it is now, right? So there's obviously brand story, there's brand development, and just overall feel. How is it that you landed on what it is that exists now, and has it changed over time?
It's changed immensely over time. So, like I said, when I first started doing that, I'm like 23.
Yeah.
So, for one, my styles were different completely.
Totally.
I wore different things
Yeah.
than I
As
do
one
now.
does.
Oh my God. You know,
Oh, yes.
I look back and I'm like, oh my God. So, okay. So it's changed just because for me, it started because I was really filling a need. Like the need was I didn't have the clothes that I wanted to have.
Mhm.
And that was the need that I was filling, to be like super honest. And so
Yeah.
I was buying clothes then that 18 to 25-year-olds would wear. And then as I continued to grow up, it would continue to grow and the styles would change with me. And so now I'm looking at like an avatar customer that's like 30 to 40.
Yeah.
And in the next year, I turn 35. And honestly, we're coming up around a huge change now. My fall line is going to be different than anything I've ever done. And we're actually going to go even more up, like in quality, in age, in demographic, and everything. So now we're going to be looking at like a 30 to 50-year-old customer, 35 to 50 maybe. So it's going to change come at fall. Everything, quality, price, and everything's going to go up. So it's completely, it always evolves with me. And that's what one thing I love about it. I hope that it continues to always evolve with me, because if I'm not evolving, I can't take it. Like I have to change. I have to keep little changes going all the time and grow, or I feel like I'm dying, you know?
Totally.
So it's definitely evolved and changed. And I, started it out as just something that I did on the side and something that wasn't my all and wasn't everything to me. And then it grew into this purpose and this, fulfillment for me of, like a life-changing thing for me.
Yeah. And I mean, it's incredible because look, if this is something that you're committed to and you get to be able to change with it, right? You get to define and decide what it is that exists and what is the essence of that place, right? Or that person that you're looking to sell for. I also am one that I would get very bored if I just kept doing the same thing over and over and over again, as Cheryl knows. So I feel that completely.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'd love to tap into now, and sort of what seems like sort of a growth area from the branding perspective, is also this the give back piece, right? So the intention behind doing something for the good also. Where did that come from? When did that start? And what does that look like?
So this is my favorite part. So I really had this idea in 2020. I did not execute on it. And I want to say this was my mistake. Like for everybody listening, execute quicker than I did right here with this. Okay. Like normally I am a quick, like execute, I execute very quickly on ideas and stuff, but I had this idea in 2020. I did not execute as quickly as I wish I had, but thank goodness. So I finally did this year. And what this is the concept is that I was like, so when I first did it, I had the same feeling I did just a few months ago when I decided, no, I'm executing on this idea I had in 2020. So I kept feeling this same feeling for 3 years, which is awful. I should have done it before, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm doing this amazing brand and this amazing thing. It is me. It's of me. It's doing well. I'm promoting myself. Why do I feel not fulfilled about it? And, I'm listening to like mentors and podcasts and things. And they're like, if you're not fulfilled in like what you're doing, it's probably because you're not giving back enough.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that's definitely it. Like, and then I'm like, but what do I give? Because I would definitely give my time. So there's places in Phoenix I would like volunteer, like at food banks and stuff like that, because that makes me feel good about myself. Like, it's totally selfish. I get it. It makes me feel good about myself whenever I do it. But I was like, how do I translate that to my business? And so I'm like, I'm selling clothes, so it should have something to do with clothing.
Yeah.
Like, it just should. And so then I was like, oh my God, what if I just helped clothe people, like people that need clothes? And so back when I had my store, we had done clothing drives before. And I'm like, I could do stuff like this, but do it under an umbrella of a nonprofit, a charity, and continue to do it, not just do it one time a year. So we jumped in really quick, and we have a back to school clothing drive right now. It spans across 4 states.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so we're doing it. We've already, like I said, missed it for Maricopa a little bit. They started, but hey, if they need clothes, they need them. So we're going to get them their clothes. And then in North Carolina, they start back next week.
Right.
So I'll be going there next week. We're going to go to like 4 different counties in North Carolina, because I want to make sure to continue to give back to my home and not forget them either, because North Carolina is a huge part of my heart and of my story and my journey. So I never want to forget North Carolina. And so I'm going to go back there, and we're going to, dispense all the clothing there. And it just feels really important to me to give clothing and not just take money for clothing. So,
yeah. What are the 4 states?
So, Missouri, Arizona, North Carolina, and Alabama is what we have right now.
I love it. And how does one donate if they don't live in that state?
So what we're doing is we kind of have, what's the right word? Not like a representative.
Okay.
So all of the places that I named, I have someone that I know there, like a representative. They all tell us a drop-off location. So most of them are businesses. So like, let's say, for example, in Guilford County, which is in North Carolina, I know someone who has a vegan restaurant, Mike's Vegan Grill, and he is volunteered to be a drop-off location. And so then I have a friend in Troy, Alabama. He works at Troy University, and they have agreed to be a drop-off location. In Mecklenburg County, Samaritan's Feet, which is another nonprofit, has agreed to be a drop-off location. So basically, we told anyone that would listen, hey, if you want to represent your state or your county, then please contact us, and we will give you, the flyers, the tools, the promotion, and the location. So whatever school is in need with, underfunding or anything like that, crisis centers and anything like that, we'll research all of that. And then they drop it off for us. They're like a representative for our nonprofit.
That's amazing.
That's great. That's great that you have a community that you can reach out to, and a very expanded circle of friends.
So nice. When I started this, I thought it would be 2 counties: the one that I live in and the one I'm from in North Carolina. That's what I thought. 2 counties, and I really thought that was good. Yeah. And then all of a sudden we have 7 counties. And honestly, we could have had more, but I was like, okay, I think we need to stop right now just to make sure we do these right. And then for Christmas, we got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so it went even better than I could have imagined.
Yeah.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to keep in contact for Christmas time.
Oh, Christmas, because we did this, we already know Christmas is going to be, it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. So now, have you had the chance to look back and feel more fulfilled now that this is in existence, right? It felt like an empty piece for you. Is that feeling more fulfilled now that you're in all of these places.
Absolutely. I mean, there is that piece of me that is, happy that I'm giving back and has that, okay, this is what I was looking for moment. Like not take, but give. And so absolutely. Now, there's always a part of me, I don't know, if it's just me or other people can relate to this, but a lot of people are content with their lives and I'm jealous of them. I truly am. They're content and that is so cute. Like I am not that person. I am restless always. And that's just who I am. But I actually attribute it to it actually works out for me. I think restless people are always yearning for more. They're always looking for better and doing more. And they want to keep going up, which is, that's okay too. And that's who I am. I am. So I can't say I got this nonprofit and now I'm completely content with my life.
Oh no, I didn't expect that.
Not at all. No.
But yeah, and I'm like I said, I'm super jealous of people who are like, oh, I'm just content here, and I'm like, well, I'm not. I'm gonna keep going. Sorry.
No, I understand. I totally understand. And did you get a chance to celebrate the fact that it exists? Because I think that's one of the things that some people forget, right? It's like, okay, and I am 100% guilty of this, right? On same wavelength where I'm like, oh, okay, I did this. Okay, now what's next? Okay, now what's next? Before actually having just even like a smidge of a moment to say, wow, that was really cool. What an amazing thing to have been able to say I've done and accomplished. It doesn't have to be a big party for yourself or anything like that, right? But just to acknowledge.
I will do that for you because you told me to.
Good.
I am going to mark that down on my calendar.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you know my personality, but I have a calendar. It's written. I write down a checklist every day. So I'm going to write at the end of it, celebrate.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, right? You pour yourself a glass of champagne or sparkling apple juice or whatever it is that you... Red wine.
All right.
Me too. Oh boy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that and just allow for yourself to be excited that you've done something.
I will do that. I promise. I will.
Good.
So I was looking online based on, just to see what you had out there. Because as soon as I heard two-piece jogger suit, I was like, I'm in. Let's talk about that. Looking at your website, I really appreciate that there is size inclusivity and body positivity and all those different things on your site. If there was advice to give to people in the, I guess I want to say early 20s to early 30s about positivity and fashion, what would you give to them as advice?
I'm a super advocate for you asking yourself, do I feel good in it? Do I feel like I look good in it? Well, there you go. That's what you need to know, because public opinion is not your friend. Public opinion does not mean as much as how do you feel when you look at it? How, no matter how old you are, no matter what size you are, it's about how you feel when you look in the mirror, how you feel when you look at yourself. And then that's what you should wear. And I'm a big advocate of that. And we talk about size inclusivity a lot, but we don't talk about age. And a lot of women, the older they get, they feel left out and they feel silly and they feel like they are dressing too young. And that's something that I've also come in contact with a lot. And I reject all of that. I reject that. I think that no matter how old you are, you can wear things that are sexy for your age, or that make you feel beautiful, that make you feel, as young as you look or whatever. And so I say that, going off public opinion is not what you should do. And going off how you feel in something is the right way to go, for sure.
Yeah, I saw something and it was like, It's like, they have those stores, like things to never wear after you're 50. There was something along those
I
lines.
like that.
It was like things that to not wear after you're 50, other people's opinions.
There you go. Yeah.
Yes.
I do
That's
like
the
that.
one.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Because
Right?
like, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to dress. I have no idea. But I can guarantee you it probably won't be the norm. It's probably not going to be the average. So I'm ready for that already.
I love
That's
it.
great.
You know?
Mhm. Oh my gosh, how is it already this time?
Oh my goodness.
Right?
This
So
was like so easy for me, you guys. This was so much fun. I loved this.
Good.
that's what we keep telling people. Like, it's not really that big of a deal. Like, we just
No.
have fun and talk.
I
chill.
loved it.
Yeah.
It just flew by. What just
Mhm.
happened?
Yeah.
Right? So I know we've kind of talked a little bit about some of the things, but the big question that we really do have at the end here is, you haven't heard to the end yet, so now we get to surprise you. No, so we have this thing called the "This is happening" question, right? As you have many times lived through this, you decided to move and you said, "This is happening." You've decided to buy a store and say, "This is happening." Not totally sure how it's going to get there, but you felt it in your heart. You felt it in a way that you knew that was the piece of what was going to be your life for the next however long that was, right? And so it doesn't necessarily have to be jumping off of a building or, like doing anything crazy along those lines, but sometimes we have in our hearts that there's something coming next for us. And it just feels like without doing that, I will not be complete within, the next phase of my life. Do you have anything in your "this is happening" heart that you feel is coming next for you?
So you mean something that is going to change everything for me, or
I mean, just the way that you're approaching life. Do you think you might want to open another store? Do you think you want to go and do more speaking engagements? Like, is there a piece of what you're doing now or personally, right? It can be personally. We have some folks that have talked about saying, "I need to say no more often because I don't do that." And that was sort of their resolution. I don't like to call them resolutions, right? But it's the next thing that you feel like it's on your heart that you have to live out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, God, I hate to do this, but like right now, it is a human mission. It is what's happening for me. It is bigger to me even than Dria Dair, which is my baby. And for me, it's like bigger than that now. Because I've seen how fast it's gone. And I want to make it bigger and bigger and bigger. And so for that, I want more of my life to be about nonprofit. I want more of my life to be giving back and less taking. And to me, that's happening. And that's beautiful for me. It makes me feel like glowy and new and bright. And you know what I mean? It gives me something to look forward to. And I'm not just thinking about marketing and social media and all of these things. I'm thinking about how to take what I've gotten and make someone else's life better. And like, for me right now, that's what's happening. That's my big thing right now. I hope that answered the question.
No, it totally does. And that's it's been on your heart for a long time, for many years.
It has. Yeah. And and that's why I want to say again, I want to double down on like anybody listening, do not take 3 years to execute your idea because I should have done it when I thought of it in 2020. But also on the flip side, things take time and possibly there's a reason that it took me this long and, I'll do it better now than maybe I would have then. And I've got more context now, et cetera. But for me, that's what's really on my heart right now, more than even my brand, which there are things happening there too. Like I said, we're going up in quality and in style and everything for fall. But what's really on my heart is this nonprofit.
Love it.
Yeah. And it's such a gift to all those who are impacted by it, right? So that's amazing. When does the fall line launch for people that want to get into that?
Fall line is going to launch October 1st.
Okay. Great.
And so we're doing completely a new website. We have web developers working on it right now. They're redoing the entire website. Oh my God. It's like Dria Dair 3.0 because I've already done it like twice. So it's got to be 3.0.
It does.
So yeah, 3.0. And we're completely redoing everything so that it matches the quality of the clothing, and that the content we put on social media is going to be even better quality, just like the clothing, and that we get across that message. And we're launching an entire marketing campaign. Everything starts October 1st. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
We too know something about being excited about a rebrand launch. So we'll be hoping to talk about that very soon. So
you guys are?
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're very excited about that. So we're excited for you as you continue to evolve and grow, and also appreciate that you are clothing the world in kindness, especially those 7 counties that you have impacted.
Thank you.
Kendria, where can people connect with you?
Online. Yeah. So like the website is just driadair.com. I love to personally connect with people on Instagram. Right now, Instagram is where, it's popping. That's what we're doing is Instagram. So it's Dria Dair, and I'm sure you'll write it, but it's DriaDair. And really, I don't know if you guys know this, that's just my name. So, okay. Because a lot of people
I figured it out.
Yes.
Yeah. They're like, where did you get that? I'm like, you've been my friend for 20 years. Like, what?
Have you said my name ever?
Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah,
okay.
like,
Perfect.
On,
okay.
Anyway,
right.
So it's just my name. And I was just looking for a unique name that I would never have to argue with someone over and say, no, I had this one first. And so, yeah. But Instagram is my favorite. And just _ at Dria Dair, at Dria Dair _ So that's where I'm at. And then my personal one too, I'm happy to connect with anybody there. It's just at Kendria _Godair. And I would love to make friends and connect with people there.
She's amazing. We've already had a really good time hanging out this evening. So
Yes.
Let's do this off the podcast. I'm down for that.
Yeah, totally. For real.
Awesome.
It's so funny how much I think most of the guests that we've had were like, no, can we just be friends now?
Yeah.
Like,
right.
It's been really nice.
Can we just go get brunch, girls?
Yes.
I love it.
My goodness,
Thank you
would
guys
love
so
it.
much. You've been so kind. I really appreciate it. This was a blast.
Thank you for joining us. On behalf of Eileen and myself, thank you once again for a wonderful episode of You Only Go Once. Take care, everyone. Bye.